This one is going to make the OG subscribers go nuts. Before we move on, guys, just a reminder, you can win this 2022 BRZ. All you gotta do is head over to 53supply.com. Every $1 you spend grants you one chance to enter. $1 is one entry. Currently finishing up the air suspension. It's gonna be tight. Now, I don't wanna waste any more time. Let's get on to the video. You guys have got to see what I bought. I finally caved on something that I've needed for a long time. The real deal, race ramps. That's pretty cool, ain't it, baby? Oh, vlog time.
Camera.
I love you. I love you. I'm really tired of breaking $500 lips or $3,000 bumpers. So I got these little guys. They weren't cheap, but it's better than replacing lips and bumpers, and also better than spending $10,000 plus on a trailer that has air suspension. Okay, those are pretty dope. Some of you guys might be wondering, why did I just load up my JDM GC8 onto my trailer that I just got from Japan? Well, it's because I'm trading it for something. Something that if you've watched the channel for a very long time, you'll be very familiar with this car and more than likely incredibly stoked. If me telling you that tomorrow morning I'm headed up to Fayetteville, or actually Bentonville, Arkansas, if that excites you, then you might have a good idea where this is going. I'm seeing an old friend, a good friend. His name was Ethan, or his name still is Ethan. If you need a refresher, not my tuner Ethan, but the Ethan that lives up in Arkansas. If you don't know who that is, I'll give you guys some refreshers, and you guys will be caught up by the time I'm there. So right now I'm in Ethan's garage. Actually, I'm in Ethan's car in Ethan's garage.
I don't know how much you guys can see right now. So I'm looking, okay.
So by the way, if you have no idea who this sucker is, he is Ethan. He's on some of my other videos. He's got the S2000. We're doing the K series swap on.
Race car?
It is a race car.
I knew.
Oh yeah.
It's got,
I knew.
that's pretty nasty.
Hey, you know, sometimes
break down with bullets. I'm an up.
Alright guys, so for today's video, we are back in Ethan's garage again. What we're doing today is we're essentially trying to get the transmission and the motor mounted up together. Hi Ethan. Treat it right.
This is a large, you goof.
It is a large?
Hell.
Oh, I'm a dingus. 2 nights ago, Ethan got his K24 S2000 finally running. And then it spun a bearing.
Well.
Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, that's money right there.
Yeah,
okay.
sweaty. I'm glistening. Long story short, it died.
We are at Future Classic Motor Cars, pushing race cars. So many people, whenever I announced I'm getting a Miata, everybody's like, why aren't you getting an S2000? My budget is like $2,500, not $25,000. Oh, so cool. Pretty much anytime he's on camera, his brain is inside of the car, so he can't be 100% hilarious.
I actually take my brain out and put it in the car.
Oh my.
I win. Don't worry. Let me get. Oh my. I'm just gonna tell you right now, this seems exceptionally dangerous, and I do not condone this, and neither does my insurance company. Oh, bro, do you even have any torque? He's like a Honda that thinks he's fast, but.
Sliding action. Oh yeah. slide it in there.
We built this thing from scratch. That is awesome.
I like how it's black.
Sebastian getting You know what that means? What? Chicken wings! In the end, it doesn't even matter. You wear a white shirt to the shop?
Yeah, I messed up again.
You've done messed up real bad.
Skids.
Dude, we're already freaking sideways. Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh my gosh, yes. You know, the beautiful thing about doing these sliding shots is you can say whatever the heck you want.
Even wiener.
Even wiener.
You can even say wiener if you want.
All right, we're ready to go. Said goodbye to the baby, goodbye to the fam. Let's hop in the truck, take a road trip. I went to school in Arkansas, so this is a drive that I have done so many times. It's a bit nostalgic for me, even though it's a little over 5 hours away. It's one that I just remember because I used to come back once a week or once every couple weeks to see my wife, or you know, once a month to come back to see the fam. So it's cool. Let's go, boys. After all these years, they finally kind of fixed this on-ramp. Listen guys, this video is for everybody, right? But this one's kind of dedicated more to the OGs. If you guys have been around for a long time, you'll maybe remember a video called Race Car Road Trip from probably 2015? A long time ago. I was about 50 pounds lighter, and it was all about the 3-turn journey that I had from Arkansas to home. I've done this drive in an STI, my SC300, my Miata, many times, my Porsche Cayenne, my SRT Jeep, and now my truck. It's so crazy and cool and fun going back, and it's kind of cool to reminisce. A lot of people might think that like those were the days, right? Whenever I had that Subaru. And I look back and yes, it was fun, it was college, and it was great, but dude, I had no money. I was just like discouraged as hell, grinding my life away trying to do what I do today. And so I always love going back to Fayetteville or going back to Northwest Arkansas because there's a lot of pain, but a lot of gain made here and even on the trip alone. And I'm not complaining, but because gas is so expensive right now, I can only fill up half a tank at a time. It's $100. My cap's out at $100. This trip is gonna be about $400 in diesel alone. Yes, sir. Hey, yo, we made it. All of my tickets I've ever gotten in my entire life have been in Oklahoma. Seriously. So happy to be out of there. Every single time I've stopped for gas so far, people, like every time I've stopped, 100% of the time, people have been like, dude, is that a real JDM WRX? I'm like, yeah, it's cool, but like, my thought is like, you should see my, if you think this is cool, you should see my other cars. Ladies and gents, we made it. Hold on, before I show them, why don't you pop behind me, Ethan, you handsome bastard. This fine looking fellow behind me, I know a lot of you guys are going to know, some of you guys don't know him, but this is one of my best friends in the world. This is Ethan Edmond. We have some crazy history together. Whenever I was here for school, and he has a car that is potentially one of my favorite cars in the entire world because it's built by him, and it's awesome.
It's definitely unique.
I'm gonna have him pull it out for you and finally show you guys the OG car that I've been talking about. my God. For those of you who don't know, this car is incredibly special. Not to me, but to the world, because it's amazing and unique. You want to pop the hood and show them why it's a unique car? This car is absolutely amazing. This is the most genius thing ever. I love it. No Hondas at all. That is not the F Series. That's a built K24.
Mods, K20 oil pump on there died.
That's fine.
It's normal.
It's good. Now we can talk about it without they can hear.
It's true. I guess I'll go ahead and give you a quick rundown on the engine.
Yeah, I want them to know all of the things. Hold on, actually, let me preface this.
Yeah.
When I moved here in 2014 or something like that, Ethan was one of the first people I met here in Arkansas. He just messaged me on Facebook and he's like, hey, come on, let's go have a party at my house. And so I was like, okay, cool. And met just at his house, and I noticed he had a really cool, like, clean stock. This is an AP2, AP1.
This is an AP1.
He had a really clean S2000, and I just want you guys to know I have been here for just about every single mod that has ever happened to this car, and I've been a part of the journey in some way, shape, or form, or at least I've seen it. I've watched this car be built over the years, and it is just an incredible car. But with that being said, there's a lot to be said about the car. So I guess you want to start with like the engine and drivetrain and rear end, all that kind of like.
So I'll give you the kind of condensed version just real quickly as an overview. It's a K24 K20 swapped S2000 with a built putty mod diff, a lot of suspension mods, and a lot of really custom one-off mods that I felt were kind of what Honda might have done if they were going to build a 300-ish horsepower naturally aspirated S2000. You know, they built a really incredible engine with the F20 and the F22, but it's hard to extract a whole lot more horsepower out of it without going just spending insane amounts of money. The intention behind this was to build something that was from Honda's like modular catalog effectively, and have something that could, one, produce the kind of power output that I wanted naturally aspirated, because I think that's the core of the S2000.
Yeah.
And then make it look like stockish, even though it's nowhere even near that.
Guys, seriously, this car is like sleeperishly amazing. So
sleeperishly?
Cool. Sleeperishly amazing. It obviously doesn't look like a sleeper, but I really do want them to know everything that you've done.
Yeah,
so I mean, we're gonna go through the nitty gritty. So I guess let's go ahead and start with the engine, since that's probably what most people are gonna want to know.
It's a factory K24 A2 short block.
Yeah.
At least the block itself. Other than that, there's not a lot left stock about it. Got a modified ported K20 A2 oil pump. That's modified to fit the K24,
which is really
short
cool.
block. And that allows for just higher oil flow at high RPM. It diminishes cavitation to about 8,600 RPM rather than the factory K24 oil pump. Also deletes balance shafts, so rotating mass drops significantly.
I didn't actually know K24s had the balance shafts in them, but that's
and so do K20 Z3s in like the 08 up SIs.
You don't need them, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't need them. Maybe you need them. I don't know.
It's just science.
But from there, the build is not super crazy. The intent was to build something that was not hard to repeat if something did break.
Yeah.
It's a rods piston, so Supertech rods, BC Sportsman Air P2000 rods, Supertech 12.5:1 compression pistons, but the head's been decked a hair. I mean, it's stock thickness head gasket, so it's about 12.7:1. And then from there, the K20 A2 head is effectively a stock RSX cylinder head with Supertech valve springs, Supertech valves, Supertech retainers, Pronto Stage 5 cams, which is their largest VTEC enabled cam.
Cool.
If you go any bigger than that, they drop VTEC and you have to change out the lost motion assemblies, etc.
No, we want VTEC.
Yeah,
we like VTEC.
I'm an old school Honda kid, like the old wah.
Yes. Yes.
It's very fun. It excites some inner child in me, so I'm okay with that. Especially because this car is street driven, and my intent was to have this car still be streetable.
And then at some point, a line was crossed.
A line was crossed at some point. And I think it was, the line is somewhere near the intake manifold and throttle body. The intake manifold is a reversed Skunk 2 Ultra intake manifold.
Did you have to like get that fabricated? Like,
no, so Skunk 2 did a really cool thing on these, and they made them in a manner that you can actually unbolt the top half, add a volume spacer, or flip the manifold forward and back.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's cool. Oh, that's right, because this is the bottom, because those are the vacuum ports.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
on my bottom here, there's a flat plate here that you can install like the Skunk 2 emblem or whatever, but it doesn't exist on my car. So I'm running a low volume one because it doesn't make sense to have a huge volume intake manifold on an NA car. But I am running K-Tune's 90mm throttle body, which
That's big,
actually
big breathing energy.
Yeah, it allows the engine to make really good power up top. However, being an AP1, this car's cable actuated throttle.
Oh, so from the factory it was. So you didn't add. Yeah. Okay, cool.
So from the factory it was. So that kind of actually presents some problems because this manifold is flipped, and because of how the cable comes into the engine bay from the throttle pedal itself. I needed to flop.
You made this.
Yeah, I needed to flop the actual assembly here from this side to this side.
That's
badass. I designed this aluminum bracket to put the cable tensioner in the right spot, and to allow me to run it on this side. So it had to be fully disassembled, and then I designed this piece. And
still stock airbox, which arguably is like the best thing you can run on.
It is a stock airbox, but oops, there it goes. Gone forever.
Hey, hit the ground.
The airbox does have a 3-inch intake in it with a factory style filter. Oh, there's a bug in there.
Heyo.
Hello. The only difference is it's connected with a silicone coupler, and the factory airbox goes inside and mine goes above.
Right.
I am certain there's actually power to be made by running a longer intake.
Sure.
But I'm such a...
It's the purest thing that you've done here.
Yeah.
And also, I want to show, a lot of you guys have known this. I mean, your OGs, you're like, this is no news to you, but he made this out of fiberglass, and we might 3D print it. I might have it like revamped. Oh, you riv nutted it. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's hell yeah.
At one point, my plan was to actually take all this back out and redo it, but you know.
This is cool though. I mean, it literally, like, he made this, he just cut his hood, made this out of fiberglass, and it goes right in to the air duct. So it's a ram air, factory ram air. It's cool.
I'll be honest, it's not like a truly perfect piece.
It doesn't
but
matter.
It was
it's
at
cool.
minimum
it's so
a
cool.
proof of concept, which is really cool. The car is a return style fuel system from the factory, so that was really not a horribly
really awesome.
complicated system. If you go to an AP2, they are no longer a return style fuel system.
Oof.
So it gets a little more tricky.
Is it on ethanol right now? Or
it's
no?
on fully 85.
Okay, cool. I like that.
It's got 770cc injectors. I don't need injectors that big, even on E85, but it's nice to have headroom.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I didn't really know where the build was going to go, to be honest with you. And
in worst case scenario, you're just using half the duty cycle, and it's all good.
It does run a factory intake air temperature sensor. It's actually running a factory K20A2 Honda that's been just merged into the S2000 harness.
K-Pro, I guess, just nice.
Yep, and then I built, this is an RSX OEM engine harness that I just modified to fit in here and work in the chassis.
I love how clean this engine bay is too. And I remember, I think the crazy thing is, like, you can sit here and talk about this all day long, but I remember when you sent this off.
Yeah.
I remember when you got that back, I was like, okay, that's sick. I remember when I remember you doing something with this, and my knowledge was pretty limited at the time of you building half of this. So I remember bits and pieces, but I don't remember exactly the what and why. I remember you sending off the oil pump, like that was, you actually had to do that like 3 times, I remember.
Well,
or no, something happened. It was a lot of work.
Well, when the second engine failed, it was it was a little catastrophic, as the rod just, it was exiting scene, as you would say in the theater world. And what I mean is, it just it found its way on the outside of the engine rather than on the inside.
Yeah, so, typically that's not good.
This is a track tough water bypass. Had to modify the intake manifold gasket for that.
It's a lot of things. Yeah, it's just
still has heat. It has a factory style brake booster vacuum hose. Coolant lines are still run effectively how they were from the factory on the S2000. The intention again was to make it simple. And like if something was to break, it would be easy to fix or find parts for.
Yeah.
Because at one point I was hell-bent on actually racing this car.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to have a car that's so complicated that you can't fix it at the track.
Yeah, you got to be able to run to O'Reilly and grab something if something breaks. So I want to actually move on. Speaking about like heater core stuff.
Yeah.
The AC delete is actually interesting in this car.
Yeah.
So the club racing cars did not come with air conditioning.
Well, some of them did, some of them didn't. In fact, the rarest option was to not get air conditioning. Even the club racers, they were almost always built with AC. It was a funny option, and it's worth a bajillion dollars now if you can find one that has no AC on it.
Really?
So
like some of the minor details that I really love, that's like hard for people to kind of grasp, especially like you can't list a car like this on Facebook Marketplace because you're gonna get a bunch of tire kickers that are like, well, I've seen an S2000 for 10K, brother.
And that's exactly it, and that's kind of why this whole thing's gonna work so well, because you understand the car.
I love this car.
You love this car, and I know it's going to a good home, and you can kind of see it here. This is kind of one little hint, but there's a AC button block off plate that Honda actually provided, which is pretty cool.
Where was it again?
It's right here. So this is usually the AC button, and
right there.
So we just don't have it anymore. There's also a block off plate on the firewall.
Still push to start.
Still push to start.
Which is awesome.
Dang, bro.
That was some, speaking of some Honda action. Sheesh. Transmission is still S2000's trans.
Still an AP1 S2000.
The rear end, I remember you had that built from like Florida.
Yeah, it's a putty mod stage.
Putty mod, yeah.
It's a putty mod stage 2 diff, and it is not factory geared. It's 477 gears.
Okay.
Factory's 410. Realistically, like, this car can't do a dime over 138 miles,
That's
135,
and
something like that.
It's a 6-speed too, right?
6-speed, yeah.
So you just start in second gear pretty much. Yeah.
Dude, if you're, it's so funny. If you're leaving a light, you can be in 5th gear by 45.
So some of the other aesthetic mods, I know that people, you obviously have a big wing, and you got the big wang is a must. There's something unique about this wing and cool.
So again, kind of with the whole like OEM Plus or whatever you want to call it. It's an OEM Club Racer wing that I just found off of a wrecked Club Racer a few years ago. I really love the Club Racer wing, but it's not adjustable and it's not quite in perfectly clean air because of visibility issues and things like that. Long and the short is I bought APR GTC 200 wing stands that were made for an S2000 and then modified them so they have custom built brackets on them that then...
Actually, let me get a good angle on this. He just did a burnout again.
Yeah, same
Dude,
car.
man, Honda man's going crazy today.
Just going mad. But yeah, so they're fully adjustable. You can adjust the angle of attack.
He's actually getting different stands though. One of my least favorite things about the CR wing is the factory or the OEM stands come with it. So I'm glad that he's doing that.
The side plates on them sit just about like right here.
And the wing, I think the wing stands are kind of fugly.
They're not great.
Yeah, they're not. And then you also have the CR front. Is it? That's a CR front lip.
That's a factory CR front lip, and it's not perfect right now. I driving it aggressively one day, and
you know what? It's better than babying it. It's okay.
Hey, at least I drive the damn thing.
Yeah, exactly. I also just like little things like you have the European blinkers, like the amber deletes.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
They were.
Thank you for not doing shaved fenders.
So hard to get.
Yeah, I know. I remember you getting them.
And I've literally got lucky with the dude. He wanted my orange ones.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I remember that.
I guess it's one of those situations where you always want what you can't have.
It is cool because like everything you're talking, I mean, I wasn't there for some of like the serious engine building and like the braking and rebuilding and stuff, but like, I mean, you're talking about like the CR. I rode in this car with you to Springfield to go, because you were picking up the hardtop or whatever. You repainted the entire car.
The car painted, yep.
Yeah, like the whole car's been repainted. I have actually detailed this car before.
Color.
In a factory color, yeah. I love the silver. It's one of my favorite colors in the S2000s. You got the C28s?
Yep, they are a S2000. Back in the day when S2KI was really popping off, there was a group buy for 17 by 10 plus 44 C28s. And so these were commissioned by S2000 owners to be built in a group of them. And so there's only a handful of these sets in the world. And they actually came off of a track car. Oh, another really cool thing. Yeah, dude, this is the thing about this car. It's like you can talk about it for literally, I think we're talking for 20 minutes already, and like there's something new to talk about. This plate right here, all US spec cars came with cruise control. And in other parts of the world, they offered the S2000 without it. Yeah. And so in Europe and Japan, the defroster is over here and the cruise control is over there because, of course, you're driving on the other side of the road. But so I ended up finding the block-off plate for a right-hand drive S2000 Defrost Elite to fit in this side of the US specs stash.
To get rid of the
cruise control because I had to delete. Well, I didn't have to, but there was just no need.
I've never used cruise control in my life. So the way, I guess I'll move on to this. The way that this kind of came up is a couple of weeks ago, if you guys saw the video, I went to Atlanta Motorsports Park and I drove and just track tested some the Hyundai inline or the in-spec cars. So the Elantra in, the Veloster in, and I had a lot of fun. This is a long story and I won't get into it, but like my anxiety has been really bad the past few years and I haven't been able to drive. Kind of got that under control now with a lot of, again, very long story. And I was like, you know what, I kind of want to get into HPD again. And so I was talking to Ethan. I was like, I've always wanted to drive an S2000. They're really cool. They're very unique cars, and they're like probably one of the best cars to learn the fundamentals of motorsports on, aside from a Miata. I was like, hey, there's a guy that was like selling it was like a freaking rebuilt title.
It was a Berliner Black AP1.
And it was okay. But you're like, dude, just buy mine.
Yeah.
I went so that it can go to a good home, because I don't know, I wouldn't want some like 18-year-old kid doing this and then, putting flares on it. And
You're not selling it, are you?
going to a good home.
We have something else that's got a big motor that we can hear.
You'll like it, yeah.
For real, I'm not being funny.
I love you guys.
I love to hear that stuff.
That is awesome.
See you, have a great day.
If she wants to move to Forney, she can move right behind my house.
Right next door.
Right next door. That's the gist of it. It's got a lot of suspension work. This car is really, really awesome, and it's hard to not like sound biased in like a sentimental way, but this car is genuinely special because I know like Ethan just puts so much time, effort, care, money, time, just a lot of things, and also tears, heartbreak.
Many tears.
A lot of people also just don't get that when you, and I guess every car enthusiast makes this mistake at some point,
Yeah.
right? You want to go so hard and make your car a race car, and then it gets to a point to where it's like, oh, what did I do?
What did I do? What have I done?
Even in my spare time, maybe I won't even make videos on it, but I want to use this car as an HPD car, get some seat time with it, kind of take care of it, and then, you know, just hold it.
I'm really excited to see that personally, because what it needs more than anything is somebody to take it out, beat the snot out of it, figure out what it needs to go faster.
Something that some people just don't get too is like when you put so much time and effort into a car, and this is exactly what happened to my SC300. Like there's like PTSD factor where it's like if you blow it up or something breaks so often, you're just like, I don't want it anymore.
I don't want my
SC300 ever again, even though like I love the car and I wish I still had it, but I don't want it. I don't want to drive it.
Kind of back onto HPD, like the car's set up, like it's got iBlock Multi-Pro R2, external reservoir, double adjustable
The good
coilovers.
stuff. Yeah.
And with the car, on top of that, you're going to get 2 different sway bars. You have roll center adjusters and diff collars that highly isolate the mounts, so it's much stiffer. It's all 90A mounts, innovative mounts. I'm missing a lot of stuff still, and it's just like, if I just sat down.
You know what? As I'm making more and more videos, I'll just, I'll remember one thing. I'll be like, oh hey, by the way, we didn't mention this in the S2000 video. But yeah, that is the trade. My JDM GC8. I bought this car and I was actually going to sell it on Marketplace, but Marketplace is full of a bunch of people that just don't know the value of anything. So it's hard to sell cars on Facebook, and I just don't have the time to deal with it. And I was like, hey dude, this is a perfect car. If you want to daily it or just, kind of start fresh. You also love Subarus.
Love Subarus.
So this is coming home with me, and I'm actually, Ethan, you're gonna drive it onto the trailer, because the first time I drive it, it's coming off the trailer and I'm going straight to my favorite road back home.
Yeah.
So I just,
Love that.
It's going to a good place, dude. I hope that new and old subscribers are equal parts excited about this, because this is just such a cool, unique car. It'll be interesting. I don't know exactly if I'm going to touch anything or change anything, but if it is, it's probably gonna because the car needs it. I'd say this car is so dope, especially from this angle. I gotta take a picture. This one's for the gram. I haven't turned the radio on in this car yet.
Kind of bumps.
This car is a time machine, so why not just be in the 90s as you're in the 90s? Oh, thank you. I really needed one of these. That car looks so cool. It's a pretty authentic experience in there, huh? Did you have Running in the 90s playing?
Oh yeah.
This thing is so sick, guys. Hopefully these race ramps do me good. All right, you're pretty centered. Oh, perfect. So good, dude. Emotional moment-y. She'll be in good hands, buddy.
With the hat on.
You can come see it anytime. It's in a place where you can come see it anytime and touch
Behind hugs included?
Yeah.
Sold.
Well, I'm officially driving away from Ethan. I'm sure that probably wasn't the easiest thing in the world for him to watch, this car driving away, but I'm really happy it's coming to me, and I am excited to just have it in my possession and give it a shot, I hope you guys are excited about it, but at the end of the day, if you're not, it's fine, because I am, and that's really what matters, because it's my channel, it's my life. And if you guys are still watching from long enough ago to where you know what this car is, thank you for just being awesome. And my camera's about to die, so I might have to finish this when I get home. Yeah, that do be looking what, that's what's gonna have to happen. Sorry guys. Well guys, I made it home, and as promised, I have not driven the S2000 yet. Well, I have now, but it's because I've already filmed another video. But I kept my promise, and I just rolled it off the trailer, and I didn't even start it up until my first drive for an authentic experience. This was a really cool video for me to make, and I hope, like I said earlier, that people old and new, especially after talking about this car as much as we did this video, can appreciate how awesome this is, and how many stages it's gone through, and just how rad it is. And also, boy, watching the old content on the channel really kind of gets you thinking that we've all come a long way. So much has changed, and life has just gotten so cool. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've been a little lazy on daily advice lately, and I want to do better about that. If you're old and you just returned, or if you're new and whatever, I give daily advice every day, and that's honestly the most important thing I think I can do. Some of you guys are gonna have to think about this one, and some of you guys might not like it. Some of you guys really might not like it, but I'm gonna give you guys some advice right now. I've been through a lot in my life, and that's why I do the daily advice, because like I want somebody to tell me the real truth and real information that I could have used 10 years ago, 8 years ago. If you could say 3 words to your younger self, what would you do? And you know, some people are like, buy more Bitcoin or something like that. The 3 words I would say is, money's not everything. And here's what I mean by that. And before I say anything, money is awesome. It's great. When you have enough of it to pay your bills and live, it's fantastic. But money's not everything. People will look at anybody successful and they'll be like, well, you don't have anything to complain about because you have money. Common theme is like, oh, you can't complain because you have money. A lot of the money that I've made and a lot of the money that successful people make goes right back into, eventually, their own mental health. It's like you're working your life away so that you can afford to get your life back eventually. And it's not that I resent making any money, but it's like I have had to spend so much because all of this has done so much to my mental health that in some aspects, it's like, has this even been worth it? There are some months where I'll make a ton of money, but I feel horrible. I'm depressed. I have bad anxiety. And it's like, was that even worth it? Is any of this even worth it? And I want to tell you guys something. I have struggled with anxiety and depression for a long time. Thankfully, I've gotten a better grip on it now, but that's after a lot of money spent on brain scans, doctor's visits, and a lot of years of patience and trial and error. I have been on the verge of suicide and suicidal thoughts. I would not be here today if I wasn't rooted in something else other than material things. If Jesus was not my Lord and Savior, if I did not have him in my life, I would be dead. Arguably, I would be dead. I've had addictions, multiple of them. Adderall specifically, I almost died. My heart almost stopped. Drinking, in the past, I've had a drinking problem. I should be in some way overdosed, liver failured, or I'm not gonna get graphic about the last one, dealing with that, if it wasn't for my relationship with the Lord. I say that right now because when you only value material possessions in your life, if this was the only thing that I counted on to make me happy, I'm pouring into a cup that has holes drilled out at the bottom. If I don't have a solid foundation, if I don't have one stable rock in my life to keep me straight and to keep myself in check, and if I don't find my joy in Christ, then the bottom of my life's cup has holes in it. And every car I buy, everything I get is pouring into that cup. But if I don't have anything at the bottom keeping me full, it's just gonna drain back out. And all you're gonna do your whole life is just keep pouring, keep pouring, keep pouring. And it's just gonna keep coming out because you're never gonna be satisfied. You're never gonna be filled. Take that how you want. I am not a pushy person, but I feel the need to say that. I wanna be more real with you guys than pushy. You know, I'm not an evangelist. I'm not anything of that sort. But you know, if your life is constantly tied to material things to keep on one-upping your happiness, and if you're trying to find purpose in the things that you buy, or trying to find purpose in money alone, or that your job title, or how many women or men you've slept with, like, you are pouring into a cup that will never be full, will never be filled and can't be filled. That's what I wanted to tell you guys today. I don't know if that flowed very well. It went well in my brain, but it's something that I was kind of convicted about and really wanted to say things. And you know, I typically walk on eggshells or tiptoe around important concepts to help you guys, but really, truly, the one thing that has kept me, I'm just gonna say alive, because I should be probably dead, is the grace of God in my relationship with Jesus. And that's free plug for my favorite, one of my favorite people in the world. But if you guys need a good Easter service to watch or something like that, because that's coming up next week, Lake Point Church in Rockwall is fantastic, and the pastor is actually one of my friends. He's really, really dope, and they do online, and it's really cool because a lot of people are super scared and uncomfortable about that topic, but the way we do things down here is we embrace everybody. I'm not perfect. I'm a sinner. I cuss. I drink. You know, it's like I'm not a perfect person, but that's not the point. Love you guys. I genuinely do. And you know, if you didn't like that at all, it's okay. You can shrug it off and you can watch next video. I'm not going to get too crazy into that, but I do think it's important to teach you guys the things that truly have kept me alive. So I love you guys. That was a long daily advice. This is a very long video, and I can't wait for you guys to watch the next one. I love you so much. Have an amazing day. Peace. Hey, I have 2 videos for you guys to watch right in front of you. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. We'll do one of 3 things. Go to 5-3supply.com. You can win that BRZ. Every $1 you spend gets you an entry, or watch one of those 2. It helps me out a ton. Have an amazing day.